Hey, what's up guys, this is 3D Bonfire back with another amazing tutorial, and I started yesterday to build a simple room here for my Patreon where actually I talk about abstract architecture and art direction and lighting, colors and all of the good stuff, okay? So these are just some examples that I wanted to go through with you on my Patreon. Just look at this one is my favorite, definitely. But anyway, I was building another room here to share it with my patrons, and I was starting really simple and then put some light into it, put some really nice tech product into it, and then do some material and shader decisions here. But then I got a little bit carried away and thought, hey, this would be a nice playground, combine it with some soft bodies. Alright, so I was playing with different materials and then I combined them here, and I thought, hey man, this is also something that I want to share with you guys on YouTube. And of course you want to see this in motion, so I rendered out a couple of frames here and you can see the interaction between these soft jellies and the tech product. I just love it, alright? Especially here you can see how they bounce on top of it, and they are so playful and just want to hug this headphones, alright? And this is something that I thought, hey, I could also share some knowledge with you guys here on YouTube. But just be sure the whole process, the whole course, where I start from zero and share with you how to build different rooms and how to play with architecture, how to light it, how to make creative decisions with materials and space and light, and then with materials, shading, lighting, all of the good stuff. So the complete package will be on my Patreon as always. But definitely here on YouTube, I also want to share with you some beautiful soft body jelly knowledge, alright? So I thought, let's give away some knowledge for free and let's just have some fun here, okay? So let's fire up Cinema 4D and play with soft bodies and headphones, alright? Alright, finally in Cinema 4D, and you can see when I scrub through my timeline here, then I get already a stable simulation with all of these lovely interactions between my product and my soft bodies. And it looks lovely and you just have to render it out. But of course this is too much for this short YouTube tutorial. So what I want to teach you here is to just grab a beautiful product, turn it into a collider for your soft bodies, and then let your soft bodies collide and have fun with your tech product or whatever you like to have in your scene, okay? So I want to do this with these headphones, and when you use Cinema 4D, then probably when you go to your asset browser by clicking on this button here and search for headphones, then you get this amazing 3D asset. Just put it into your scene. But of course you can use whatever you like to use. So for example, when I would search for ice skate, then I would get this amazing asset, and when you put it into your scene, you can see that you can definitely also have some fun with this element here. Just be sure when I already put this in my scene and when I would put a figure next to it, then you can see that all of these elements, they come in with real life scaling, okay? And for my taste, I don't want to make such a small simulation with soft bodies like in that size, okay? So you could also do it like this, but I just want to grab my element and scale it up 5 or 10 times to have something in that measurement here. And then I would more have like soft bodies around it with a scaling of 20 centimeters or 50 centimeters or something like that, okay? So I just like to simulate in that ratio and not as small as this one. But this is just my taste, and I think that it will just slightly behave different when you have a bit of a bigger scaling with your soft bodies. Anyway, let's go up to the next step. And now it would be great when you can just put a collider on this one and then let your soft bodies play with it. But sometimes you have to optimize your object a little bit. So for example, this one comes quite with a complex hierarchy of elements. So what you should definitely do is to build a collider element. That's what I did here. And you can see that this collider, when I press NB, it has way less polygons, which are evenly distributed over my element. And then I have like only these couple of elements here, and I could just select all of them, go to simulation and put a collider tag on it. Maybe you ask yourself how you can build colliders like this one, so I can also show you that. Just to keep it short, I want to, for example, only grab this top element here, the headband. Let's put it out of the hierarchy. Now I want to make the hierarchy invisible, and you can see now this element I want to turn into a collider for my simulation. Therefore I want to just grab it like it is, and then I will hold down Alt and put it into a builder, and then I still hold down Alt, put it into a mesher, and I will still hold down Alt, and now I would put it into a remesh element. And now you can see I have this low polygon headband, but you can definitely tweak this a little bit. So I would go to the volume builder and put this one, for example, to 2 to just be more true to the original element here, just be closer to it. Then put this one into a remesher. Okay, this is looking better. And then you can remesh this one, but just go to mesh density and put this, for example, to 10 or something like that. And then you can see I have this low polygon element here, which is already a beautiful collider for the upper part of our headphones, all right? And there you would have your collider and then just put a collider tag on it. So this is what I did to this whole element, but then I want to just keep the original here visible and make the collider invisible, but you can see that the collider is perfectly in position to get some beautiful collisions here. All right, and the next step would be to just make the collider invisible again, and let's create some spheres around our element. And I can definitely go more into detail how to get a nice distribution of your spheres around your object, but for now here on YouTube, I just want to keep this one nice and short. Let's just create a hexahedron sphere. Let's put this one to 30, for example, and let's just duplicate a couple of spheres here. I'm holding down Control to just click and drag them around my headphones. All right, something like this one. I think this is already enough. Maybe a couple more down here. Okay, let's do it like that. We got these beautiful spheres here, and now I want to select all of them, right click, go down to simulation tag and put a cloth tag on them. I probably want to give them a little bit of pressure, so I activate balloon and put this, for example, to 1.5 to just have them inflated a little bit. When you simulate this one now, then probably they will just fall down. I mean, more or less. They will already give you nice collisions here, but we definitely don't want to have gravity in the scene. So I hold down Control D, go to the global simulation settings, over to scene and put the gravity to 0. All right. And now let's go over to the magic ingredients of the simulation. So we want all of these ones to be attracted by the headphones. And you can do that, for example, with the simulation force attractor. But this attractor will more or less be just an infinite small point, and you can restrict it to a field, for example, to a sphere and stuff like that. But we can also make the headphone by itself our attraction element. And you can do that by going to simulation forces and over to field force, and then just, hopefully this is working, put the collider into it. Okay, this doesn't work. So probably we need to select all of our collider elements and put that into the field force. But I think it will be just easier for the system when we duplicate the collider and select all of our elements for the collider and then right click on it and say connect objects and delete to just have one object here. Okay, so now this collider is just one object, and I think this will be just easier for the simulation to be stable. Okay, let's put this one into our field force. All right, nothing is happening, so let's hope that this is working. I want to make the strength of it stronger, put this one to 500, for example. And maybe I want to just temporarily deactivate our headphones here and just want to see the collider. So let's go over to the field force display. Maybe we need to see this one better. Okay, it still doesn't show up. So let me just figure out the problem here. All right, this is a classic gotcha. Okay, so you don't have to put your mesh into the fields. So don't do that, but that happens on a regular basis. You have to put it into this field box. Let's try it when we put it into this one here, and now you get this little furry ball here. Okay, what a nice effect, but this is not what we are after. This is just the display mode of the vectors, which will show you the direction of your force. Okay, so let's just reduce the line density to see this a little bit clearer, and probably we can also scale down these vectors to just see this one better. But now you can see that we definitely get an attraction towards our object, and you ask yourself, hey, why is the force only here? But no, the force is everywhere. You can just only see it in this visible box here. So this is just for the visualization. But when I would scale this one up, all right, and just center it around my headphones, then you can see we get these beautiful vectors all over the place. And when we increase the line density, you can see that this one has some beautiful force field around it. Okay, so that's beautiful. This is exactly what we want. But for now, I think we don't want to show that anymore because it's a bit distracting. But now you can put this one to, let's say, 1000, and let's just see what will happen. All right. Pretty underwhelming result here. So I think that the problem is that probably this force will only act in this area here. So what we need to correct is to go onto your element here in the field force and then go down to the radius. And I think we just have to increase this one. All right, just drag it up to maybe 1000. Now the effect of the force will be all over the place. And again, you can see nothing, but then just make the display box invisible again. And let's just see if if the force will happen now. Okay, that's beautiful. But now the last problem is that the feed force is acting in the wrong direction. So of course now you know what to do to just give it a negative strength here. Put this one to -500 and let's just see. And now you get this beautiful collision between your elements and your headphone. And you can now combine this with different other forces, just like I did it here, okay, to get some really natural, beautiful movement. And as you already know, the whole project with my settings and the lighting and the art direction and the simulation settings, all of the good stuff will be on my Patreon. But anyway, I hope that you still learned something really useful here on YouTube. Just be sure to support me if you like my content. And other than that, have an amazing day, be powerful, be prolific. Bye everyone.